One of the biggest challenges legal techs now face is getting a foot in the door with decision makers at law firms and in-house legal teams. Why? Because there's a growing number of legal techs all competing for the attention of a very network-based, cold-averse community. So what's the solution? Relationship-led outreach. I've personally booked meetings with decision makers at some of the hottest tech startups like Surmise, Definely, Sequence, Zelix, Modular Stream. So if I ran GTM over at Legora, here's exactly how I book meetings consistently with partners, GCs, and legal leaders over at law firms and in-house legal teams. Step one is I do a close-won analysis, in this case, a logo analysis of all of their customers. Step two is I define ICP and tiering on an account level and a persona level. Step three is I would map my existing customer network to identify the warmest paths into target accounts. And step four is I would leverage 2 playbooks to book warm meetings. So playbook number 1 is I would get my CSMs and AMs to reach out to my happy customers at times of peak satisfaction, asking for warm intros. And playbook number 2 is I would get my BDRs and AEs to cold call prospects, name dropping our shared contact, so our existing customer. So it feels like reaching out to a friend of a friend rather than a cold call. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. So we're on Legora's website. Like I say, they help lawyers at law firms, in-house legal teams automate and use AI to, do a lot of the grunt work so they can focus on strategic work. So if we head over to their customers page, we can see a whole bunch of case studies, logos, and we can take those logos, drop them in a CSV. Are they an in-house legal team? Are they a law firm? Or are they legal services? And why should we include them as a customer logo? And once we've got that QA'd it, made sure they are all in fact customers, we can then upload that as a CSV into Referral, and we get this table, and then we can start enriching with information like country, city, founded year, short description, what industry are they in, how many employees do they have, and how big's their legal team. Now, obviously, legal team size for a law firm isn't really relevant. Most of them are going to be lawyers, but they're not going to necessarily have legal in their title. It might be associate. And so the legal team number doesn't really apply for law firms. For in-house legal teams, it does, because obviously, like, if they're doing a lot of the contracts for that company, they're going to have legal in their title or some kind of similar title. And then for legal services, which is more like a Deloitte that offers varying services, and legal is one kind of component of that, but it's to the customer, not in-house. Again, they're going to have legal in their title. So we're not going to include this legal number within the analysis for law firms. What we do is we drop this data set into Claude, we QA it, we then do a manual QA, make sure the data set's top notch, and then we can start analyzing this data. And if we head over here, we can see that we've done a logo analysis. So 73% of the customer logos are law firms, 22% are in-house legal teams, and 5% are legal services. We've got a whole bunch of regions, so Nordic, Siberia, DACH, UK and I, North America, France, the list goes on. Obviously broken down by countries. And then we've actually grouped the analysis as well by, obviously, are they a law firm? Are they an in-house legal team? Are they legal services? Because obviously it's going to vary depending in who they're targeting. So for law firms, 73% of the logos. Which segments are they targeting? Okay, all the way from SMB to large enterprise, regions. For in-house legal team, we've done the same, but we've also added legal team size by segments, so people can get an idea, if we're targeting commercial account, how many lawyers, how many people in the legal team we can expect. And then obviously looking at industries as well. And then for legal services, again, we've done exactly the same thing. And then we've also broken down by geo as well. So, how closely do law firms and in-house match in terms of like geo targeting? And so we've taken all of this data and compiled it and organized it into an account tiering. So territories, top 5 is Nordic, Siberia, DACH, UK and I, North America. We've got some secondaries there as well. In terms of tiering, we're obviously not going to know what makes a tier 1 law firm a tier 2, a tier 3. It would all be guesswork at this stage. But what we can do is create some sort of prioritization based on the type of account. So say if you've got a commercial rep or a mid-market rep, we would want them to prioritize law firms over in-house legal and in-house legal over legal services. So that is a better way to organize the tiering here. And so A list is law firms, B list is in-house legal teams, and C list is legal services. So then what we've done is we've actually analysed personas so we can understand who they should be targeting. So again, we've broken it down by law firms, by in-house legal, and by legal services to come out with a persona tiering. And we've just done the tier ones for now, so 2 SAOs, 2 sales accepted opportunities. So for law firms, partners, so managing, founding, or just simply partner, or chief VP director, head of legal tech innovation. For in-house legal teams, GCs, deputy GCs, chief VP director, head of legal ops, and then for legal services, the same. And so now we know, the personas we want to target for each of the different A, B, C lists. We can then actually compile a list of Legora customers. Are they still in the company? Have we verified them? Yes. And then we can upload them into Cluster, and Cluster is going to deeply analyze the customer's network to find overlaps and warm paths into top prospects at target count. So a good example is Martin Dittmer, who is a partner at Goris and Federspiel. He knows a guy called Sam Baldwin, who is a partner at a law practice called Zexay Attorneys at Law, based in Hungary. Now, they're a smaller organization, 11 to 50. We've got a whole bunch of bigger orgs down here that are also law practices or legal services, but we'll just show this as an example now. So if we dig into their relationship, we can see Martin and Sam exchange a whole bunch of interactions on LinkedIn with high closeness, with recency as well. So in 2026, and they worked together for 7.5 years at Goris and Federspiel. There is some role alignment as well. They're both partners and lawyers. And obviously we can see a whole bunch of other law practices down here. If we scroll down, we can see DLA Piper in Sweden. They're 201 to 500 person law firm. And if we dig into that relationship, we can see that Samuli and Johan know each other through the International Bar Association. Okay, that might be a big organization. Maybe it's not strong enough for an intro, but actually when you start looking at the LinkedIn engagement, you can see a high level of closeness. Samuli actually says, look, I wish I was there, had to cancel the trip last minute due to a COVID infection. Would have been great to see all my IBA friends. So you can see that they're part of a quite close-knit community within the International Bar Association. And so in this case, it would be worth asking for the warm intro. And so there's a whole bunch of others here. What should we do with this data now? So if we head over to Figma, 2 use cases, so the AMs CSM use case. So why do we want to use this use case? Because we can request warm intros from happy customers to tier 1 and 2 prospects target accounts, and we can get a 40% conversion rate from warm request to meeting acceptance. Really, really high conversion rate. And so how would it look? Well, we'd actually go, straight to Martin and ask for that intro to Sam. Same for Samuli. We go to Samuli and ask for that intro to Johan. And same for, again, Martin, ask the intro to Robert Neruda, partner at Haviland Partners. So now we're going to actually have a look at timing the warm intros so we can build a warm referral engine. Obviously, Legora put a lot of emphasis on saving law firms, 4 hours per week per lawyer in terms of non-billable hours, okay? Maybe the first major milestone is actually we've saved 1 hour per lawyer. And so when that happens, AM CSM can get notified in Slack. They can go and reach out to the champion, ask for feedback, ask for warm intros. Did we get the meeting, yes or no? If yes, end. If no, notify the BDR AE in Slack. And then they can reach out to the prospect directly, name dropping the champion and creating that friend of a friend type call. The other use case is the BDR AE use case. Why is that good? Well, we can actually obviously name drop shared contacts and cold calls to turn them into warm calls. It builds trust early in the call, which means you're going to book more qualified meetings. And so the example here is instead of going to Martin and asking for the intro, we're going to go straight to Sam, name dropping Martin. And here, exactly the same, we're going to go straight to Johan. And here we're going to go straight to Robert. Now, how can we build a referral engine on the sales side? Well, maybe a deal gets moved to the commercial stage. AE gets notified in Slack. AE can offer a 5%, 10% commercial discount in exchange for warm intros. There's other plays as well if you don't want to run this play, but this is a really good play. And so how can we actually cold call these people to give that effect of a warm call, friend of a friend call? So same opener. Let's go for Johan first. Johan. Hi Johan, Joe from Legora here. Appreciate when expecting the call. Do you have a brief moment? Okay, he might say yes, or what is this about? Something like that. Now we're going to go for the cold name drop approach here. Cool, so we work with law firm partners like Samuli Simajoki from Baranius. Immediately his is going to prick up because he knows who that is. We're not saying we know, which is why this isn't like the friend of a friend approach. This is more of a cold name drop approach, which is still effective. Who, like many other partners, believes AI is transforming legal work. We've got all of this, by the way, from the case study, so it's super relevant. He'd reviewed a lot of the Gen AI legal solutions, but decided Legora was a good fit. One of the reasons is actually we specifically help law firms reduce non-billable hours by 68% and increase their yearly billing per 100 lawyers by 6.9 million. So I was just curious, where on your priority list does the billables conversation sit for you right now? Let them speak. Maybe billables isn't a top priority, we can go down a different route, but at least we're going to earn a response there. And another thing we need to consider as well is, are we going from law firm to law firm to in-house legal team? If so, we might just change things up a little bit and look more into how they knew each other. Did that in-house legal person used to work at a law firm? And then we obviously changed the messaging approach slightly. But in all these cases, it's law firm to law firm. So it's pretty easy, and the problems and pains are going to translate quite nicely across. Let's call Robert now. Robert. Hi, Robert. Joe from Legora here. Appreciate you anticipating the call. Do you have a brief moment? So now we're using the friend of a friend approach. We're actually stating that we know that the prospect knows the customer, where we didn't do that in the other example. So this is something you can kind of A/B test it to see what works for you. Cool. So before coming to us, Goris and Federspiel, we're looking for a way to efficiently process large amounts of case data, contracts and legal research to free up their lawyers from time-consuming tasks. I see you and Martin Dittmer are connected on LinkedIn, engage with each other, a decent amount. So I just wondered if what we're solving for him might be relevant for you as well. I'm just curious, how are you currently enabling your lawyers with AI and technology to ensure their time is focused solely on strategic work? And then we're going to get a conversation out of that. They might come out with, oh no, well, we don't actually believe they should be focused solely on strategic work. And we can say, oh, what sort of manual work do you think is still best to, keep with the lawyer? And we're taking that conversation further. Or they might go, oh, actually, we're using this tool. And I go, oh, okay, cool. How are you finding it? Just out of interest. We're going to get a conversation, and it's going to give us time to uncover some pains. So in this video, we have taken Legora, legal tech. We've taken their customers. We've done a logo analysis. We've built out their account tiering, persona tiering. We have found a bunch of customer champions. We've loaded them into Cluster to find who they know, who are top prospects to target accounts. And then we have shown you how we can leverage that data using 2 use cases to book warm meetings. Any questions, add to the comments. And if you want to map your customer network to find warm paths into target accounts, book a demo with Cluster using the link in the description. And if you're a B2B tech company looking to build out your sales motion here in the UK, book a call with Demand House, link in the description as well.